Today, we are going to be talking about the Enlightenment period and the impact that it has on society. We're going to mainly explore the scientific method and the Industrial Revolution. So, the Enlightenment period was an intellectual movement of the 17th and 18th century that stressed the power of reason, science, and the rights of individuals. The Enlightenment thinkers such as John Locke, René Descartes, and Rousseau advocated reasoning and the scientific method to understand the world and better it. Emphasis on empirical observation and experiment resulted in great strides in the field of science with people like Isaac Newton that changed our perception of physics and astronomy. The Enlightenment also influenced the Industrial Revolution through new technologies and ideas about progress, thus spurring economic growth, urbanization, and social change. It laid the ground for democratic principles, secularism, and the belief in human society's power to evolve through education and innovation. So, key philosophers/thinkers like Isaac Newton, Francis Bacon, René Descartes, and John Locke provided foundational contributions during the rise of scientific method and the Industrial Revolution that helped shape both scientific thinking and societal change. Newton was able to show the power of empirical observation and mathematical reasoning with his laws of motion and universal gravitation, thus solidifying the scientific method as a means to understand the natural world. Francis Bacon is sometimes considered the father of the scientific method. He believed that knowledge could be achieved through inductive reasoning and experimentation. Descartes emphasized skepticism and the necessity of the rational, systematic method of understanding reality, famously saying, "I think, therefore I am." The ideas of Locke on personal rights and government joined to his empiricism on knowledge, which made him exert a powerful influence on political thought and the social arrangements later to figure out in the Industrial Revolution. These thinkers promoted reason, observation, and progress in helping to create an intellectual climate that formed a basis for technological changes and the social upheavals called the Industrial Revolution that started in the late 18th century by means of changing production, labor, and economies. The Enlightenment period influenced political thoughts by promoting ideas of individual rights, democracy, and the rule of law. It emphasized by the importance of reason and rationality in governance, advocating for governments to be based on the consent of governed rather than inherited power. The period also introduced the concept of separation of powers within governance to prevent any one branch from being too powerful. Ideas of personal liberty, equality, and the protection of natural rights became central to political theory, challenging traditional authority and monarchies. These principles laid the foundation for modern democratic systems and inspired political revolutions. Okay, so the printing press played a crucial role in spreading Enlightenment ideas by making books, pamphlets, journals, which gives the audiences more access to scientific works and findings. It allowed for the rapid and mass production of written material, which helped disseminate new ideas about reason, liberty, and government across Europe. The press enabled thinkers to share their works with public, sparking debates and encouraging intellectual exchange. As a result, it contributed to the spread of scientific method, political theories, and the questioning of traditional authority, fueling social and political change during the Enlightenment period. Furthermore, the Enlightenment period turned religion and morality to be viewed in a more secular sense. The Enlightenment encouraged people to rely on reason and critical thinking over the religious dogma that characterized their lives, making them much more skeptical or of traditional religious authority. Philosophers argued that the separation of church and the state was proper, as religion was not to dictate political governance. Morally, the Enlightenment underscored individual rights, personal freedom, and the pursuit of happiness, many times based on rational principles other than religious teachings. This change in thought brought more tolerant attitudes toward different belief systems and a growing focus on ethical behavior based upon reason and human welfare rather than religious doctrine. The Enlightenment period also contributed to significant social and economic changes by promoting ideas of equality, individual rights, and rational governance. These ideas lay the groundwork for the rise of democracy and the challenge to traditional social hierarchies, such as absolute monarchy and feudalism. Economically, Enlightenment thinkers supported free market capitalism, advocating for less government interference in trade and industry. And more socially, there was an increasing focus on education, the importance of reason and the rights of individuals, leading to reforms in education and the status of women, as well as the expansion of the middle class. These changes helped reshape society, contributing to the rise of modern democratic institutions and more dynamic market-driven economy. All right, so now let's talk about the scientific method. So what is it? It is a systematic approach to acquiring knowledge through observation, experimentation, and analysis. It involves making observations, forming hypotheses, conducting experiments to test these hypotheses, and analyzing the results to draw conclusions. This method emphasizes empirical evidence and repeatedly ensuring that findings are reliable and verifiable. By relying on reason and evidence, rather than tradition and speculation, the scientific method became a cornerstone of the Enlightenment period, driving advancements in science and reshaping how people understood the natural world. So what is the history behind the scientific method? It was actually developed during the 16th and 17th century, emerging in the context of the scientific revolution. It was a response to limitations of medieval scholasticism, which relied heavily on ancient authorities and religious doctrines. Thinkers began to prioritize observation and experimentation and reason over tradition and superstition. The rise of new technologies like telescope and microscope, as well as key discoveries in physics, astronomy, and biology, helped establish the need for a more systematic and empirical approach to understanding the natural world. The scientific method became central to Enlightenment thought as it promotes the idea that knowledge should be based on observable evidence and logical reasoning, and not just unchallenged beliefs or religion teachings. Important figures like Galileo Galilei, Francis Bacon, and Isaac Newton significantly shaped the scientific method. Galileo emphasized experimentation, and Bacon advocated for inductive reasoning, and Newton applied mathematics for science inquiry, which lays groundwork for modern science. The scientific method has profoundly influenced natural sciences by providing a structured approach to inquiry that enhances accuracy, reliability, and validity of findings. This impact extends to all branches of science, fostering a culture of critical thinking and skepticism. The scientific method is fundamental component of science education, promoting critical thinking and problem-solving skills. It encourages students to approach inquiry systematically, preparing them for advancements, studies, and research careers. Let's begin to talk about the Industrial Revolution, which began in the 18th century and continued in the 19th century. It was a period of time of rapid industrial, technological, and social change. It has marked the transition from agrarian economies to industrialized ones, driven by innovations like the steam engine, mechanized textile production, and advancements in iron and steel manufacturing. These technologies increase production efficiency, leading to the growth of factories. The expansion of transportation networks like railroads and steamships, and the rise of urbanization as people move to cities from work. The revolution also spurred significant economic growth, but brought about social challenges, including harsh conditions of work, child labor, and environment pollution. Overall, the Industrial Revolution dramatically reshaped society, laying the foundation for a modern industrialized world. So during the Industrial Revolution, key innovations transformed industry, technology, and society. The development of the steam engine, first improved by James Watt, revolutionized transportation and manufacturing by powering factories, trains, and ships. The invention of spinning jenny and the power loom significantly increased textile production, while the Bessemer process made steel production cheaper and more efficient. Innovations in communication, like the telegraph, allowed for faster exchange of information across long distances. The use of coal and later petroleum as energy sources powered factories and engines, accelerating industrial growth. These technological advances sparked urbanization as people moved to societies for factory jobs, and led to significant changes in labor, transportation, and economic systems, shaping the modern industrialized world. The Industrial Revolution transformed economies, marking the shift from handicraft to factory productions. New financial institutions emerged, facilitating investments and contributing to the expansion of markets and trade. So, in conclusion, the scientific revolution advanced knowledge, fostering innovation in fields like physics, chemistry, and biology, while the Industrial Revolution transformed economies through machineries, mass production, and together they sparked technological progress, improved living standards, and laid groundwork for modern science.